The facts are very, very clear. The United States is heading toward a debt crisis. The only solutions will be truly painful for us all. That doesn't have to be our future. The way we respond to this challenge will ultimately define our generation. We can choose a path to prosperity. Let's take a look at how we can do it. Our debt as a share of the economy is already too high, but look at where it's going. These are actually pretty conservative estimates. We face a crushing burden of debt, which will take down our economy. It will lower our living standards. Actually, I asked the Congressional Budget Office to model the economy going forward. So they have these computer programs that simulate the U.S. economy. The computer program crashes in 2037 because it can't conceive of any way in which the U.S. economy can continue because of this massive burden of debt. You know, the economists tell us, when your debt gets to 90% as a share of your economy, you start slowing down and we stagnate. We prevent that from ever happening. Here's what would happen under our proposed budget, what we're calling the path to prosperity. As you can see, we won't come anywhere close to the tipping point, and we'll pay off the debt over time. So how will we do it? We will cut spending. Washington's unsustainable spending is driving the nation's permanent plunge into debt. Look at the growth of government under the current path we are on. The government grows to such high levels that by the time my 3 children are my age, the government will be twice the size for them than what it is for me. Our plan brings spending back down to the historic level of 20% as a share of our economy. Washington has not been telling you the truth. If we don't reform spending on government health and retirement programs, we have zero hope of getting our spending and as a result our debt crisis under control. Next year, the government spends 68 cents out of every dollar you pay in taxes just to pay for these health and retirement programs and interest on the debt. By the year 2025, they will consume every penny of every tax dollar you send to Washington. Our budget saves and strengthens these programs. It fixes the flaws in Medicare and Medicaid that have made rising costs nearly impossible to check. This is the only way these programs can hope to survive and function into the future. Look, we have a choice of 2 futures. We know the path we are on right now. That's the path the president's proposing. A debt crisis, no health and retirement security, a diminished future, a stagnant country, less jobs, less prosperity. That is not the America we know. We can choose this other path, but we have to make that choice. We can lift the crushing burden of debt off of our children and grandchildren, and we can get this economy growing today. It is up to our generation to pick this path. The question is, will we do it or not? It is up to us. Washington has not been honest with you about Medicare. Medicare is a critical program which helps seniors achieve health security. But the truth is, it's headed for a painful collapse. We can save Medicare, but we have to reform it so that it delivers the high quality we expect at a price we can afford. Let's take a look at what's going on now, why it's happening, and how we can save and strengthen this program. The average American household spends nearly 50 times more on health care today than it spent in 1960. This translates into health care costs of more than $25,000 per U.S. family every year. As a result, healthcare spending has gone from consuming just 5% of our economy to nearly 1/5 of our entire economy today. While a lot needs fixing in healthcare, independent experts agree Medicare is a top driver of these unsustainable costs. If we do nothing, Medicare spending will nearly double over the next decade, exhausting its remaining funds. Here's why. More than 75% of Medicare recipients, which is 35 million people, receive what is called the fee-for-service insurance plan. Here's how it works. A Medicare patient goes to the doctor and receives health care services. The doctor sends the bill for these services to Medicare, and Medicare reimburses the doctor with your tax dollars and borrowed money, no questions asked. The system increases costs and decreases quality for 2 reasons. First, as you can see, the patient is very disconnected from the cost. We all pay for Medicare through taxes, or if you're a Medicare patient, through premiums. But the true cost is hidden from the Medicare patient because someone else pays the actual bill. When we pay directly for something and we know how much it costs, we have a strong incentive to demand the best value. In healthcare, we don't. The second reason costs are going up and quality is going down is that fee-for-service Medicare insurance has no competition. So it reimburses all doctors and hospitals the same, even if the quality of their care they provide is poor and the cost of their care is high, meaning there is little financial incentive for doctors and hospitals to deliver the best care at the lowest price. Many experts agree that this leads to rising costs, but the disagreement is over what to do about it. The president's plan is to let a panel of 15 unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats decide how much or how little Medicare will pay doctors and which services Medicare will or will not pay doctors to provide for their patients. These are price controls, and we've tried them before. They encourage more consumption and they force doctors to charge their non-Medicare patients more. That pushes costs up, not down. If we keep going down this path, many doctors will stop seeing Medicare patients altogether, restricting access to health care for seniors and leading to waiting lists and denied care. There is another better approach. The House-passed budget, the path to prosperity, saves Medicare for current seniors and strengthens it for future generations. Those in and near retirement should not be forced to reorganize their lives because of government's mistakes. That's why our budget ensures no changes for those 55 years old or older. But for current taxpayers and future generations, we need real reform. Rather than putting the government in charge, our plan provides financial support to help future Medicare patients pay for the insurance plan that works best for them and their families. Patients will have the freedom of choice from a list of guaranteed coverage options, the same kind of system members of Congress enjoy today. And insurance providers competing for patients' business will look to lower costs and increase quality for their services, the way it always works when the consumer is in charge. Our plan also ensures lower income seniors and those with greater healthcare risks will receive greater support, while wealthy seniors receive less. The urgent need to reform Medicare and the president's misguided approach have left us with a serious question to ask. Who should be making healthcare decisions for you and your family? A government monopoly and a panel of bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., or you? America's economy has been hit really hard. A lot of people have lost their jobs. More borrowing and spending and higher taxes are not going to bring jobs back to America. The last thing we need to be doing is to complicate job creation in America with this complicated tax code we have today. A tax code should be fair, competitive, and simple. And the U.S. tax code fails on all three counts. Here are common sense ideas we've advanced before and that have bipartisan support. First, we have to make our tax code fair. It's full of deductions, credits, and special carve-outs, otherwise known as loopholes, that let politically connected companies avoid paying taxes. Every dollar that companies spend lobbying for a better tax deal is a dollar they're not spending making a better product. And since every dollar hidden in a loophole doesn't get taxed, politicians make up for this lost revenue by increasing overall tax rates. So we need to close these loopholes. But if we just close loopholes, then our federal corporate tax rate is 35%. Add in state and local taxes, and the rate climbs to over 39%, the second highest tax rate among developed countries. On top of sending almost 40 cents out of every dollar earned straight to the government, businesses pay investment taxes, payroll taxes, and a handful of other taxes government makes job creators pay. In the 21st century global economy, and when American families need jobs, this approach just doesn't make any sense. We need to make our tax code competitive. The budget we passed in the House of Representatives calls for closing loopholes and lowering tax rates. The President's Bipartisan Fiscal Commission proposed something similar. The Commission's plan would reduce corporate tax rate to as low as 26% and lower the top individual rate that many small businesses pay to as low as 23%. So if we lower tax rates, does that mean the wealthy pay less in taxes? Not if we do it by closing loopholes, because the people who use most of the tax loopholes are those who are in the top tax brackets. For all the money that's parked in these tax loopholes, all that money is taxed at zero. Take away the tax loophole, lower everybody's tax rates. That money is now taxed, but it's taxed at a fairer, more simple, more competitive way, so the small businessmen and women who are out there striving and competing have a better tax rate that they can compete in this global economy. Third, let's make our tax code simple. Individuals and businesses spend over 6 billion hours and $160 billion every year just trying to understand and comply with the tax code. Let's simplify the tax code, not just by closing loopholes, but also decreasing the number of different tax brackets taxpayers fall in. Fewer brackets, along with lower individual rates, will make the tax code less complicated and let more people keep more of the money that they earn. There's a reason this approach has bipartisan support. It's fair, it's competitive, and it's simple. America's been knocked down before, we've had tough recessions before, and we know that the secret to growing jobs and prosperity in America are through the ingenuity and the hard work of our businesses, of our small businesses, of our large businesses, of job creators. We don't want a tax system that rewards people for coming to Washington and getting special favors. We want a tax system that rewards Americans for hard work, risk-taking, entrepreneurship, and investment in innovation. These are the kinds of things that have made America great in the past. And these are the kinds of ideas that we're going to need if we want to grow our economy in the future and compete in the 21st century global economy.